Les Miserables, starring Hugh Jackman, Anne Hathaway, Russell Crowe, and Amanda Seyfried, follows the life of Jean Vel Jean, a man who broke his parole after stealing a loaf of bread as he tries to escape his past. I honestly cannot even begin to tell you how much I loved this movie. Being a theater person myself, I know the show very well, and I went in expecting nothing but the best, especially with this casting, which was absolutely amazing. Anne Hathaway had me crying. I checked the time. It was 30 minutes into the movie. She had me weeping. I can't even begin to tell you how much she just completely owned the role of Fantine. Hugh Jackman, who couldn't have expected a great performance from him. Russell Crowe shocked me. He really did. I didn't expect anything from him. I expected him to drag the show down. But while he was not the most classically trained person, obviously, he did really do a great job in the acting perspective of playing Javert and in the singing perspective. When he sang Stars, I was very impressed because that is a very difficult song to pull off, and he did a great job at that. So, and while we're on the topic of singing, the idea that the director had to have the actors sing live was just unbelievable. I mean, most movie musicals don't really get to have that experience, and what they usually do is, as we all know, is they record in a studio months prior, and then they come back to the set with the audio playing for them to lip sync on camera to, which is a very, safe choice. You know, you can't really hate them for choosing that, but at the same time, as most of the cast has said in interviews, it doesn't give it that feel of there's, some imperfections there, which I really enjoyed being a theater person. I know that when you sing, it's not going to be perfect, and I actually like that to see. I don't want to go and be like, okay, they're obviously lip syncing. So I really appreciated the director's choice in making them all sing live. And now I'm going to get into some things that could be considered spoilers if you don't know the show. So if you haven't seen the show and you really want to, just click away and come back later when you have seen it and watch the rest. Okay, so hopefully by now you have seen the movie and you're ready to hear some spoiler-related things. Otherwise, one last chance to click away because I'm about to get started. Okay, so the first thing that I wanted to talk about was the cinematography and how just absolutely incredible it was, and how it gave this show a whole new feeling that seeing it on the big screen just cannot be imitated seeing it on a stage. And one of the first examples I wanted to talk about with that was the first song called Look Down, and how they were in the prison, they were pulling the boat, and that was just incredibly aesthetic enough. But one shot that really stuck out to me was when it was Javert on the ledge, and it was raining down on him, and the camera was looking up. And it just really gave this whole feeling of, wow, look at how much better Javert is, how above Javert is of these criminals that he's looking down on, and that just can't be imitated, seeing it on a stage. But at the same time, there were songs where it did have that theatrical feeling, and it did just let the singer just sing, and that was it. That was all that was needed. An example of that was, in I Dreamed a Dream, and it was just Anne Hathaway singing, and there were no fancy camera work, there were no montages, panning out, anything like that. It was just her singing and speaking to us through that character. While there were, there were different shots, there were close-ups, there were, it moved out a little bit, but at the same time, it didn't pan out, it didn't do anything fancy, it was just her singing to us, and it had that whole theatrical feeling. Another example of that was in On My Own, although it was raining in that scene, and that is something that, was a filmmaking idea of, the cinematography, back to what I was talking about. In its essence, it was just her singing to us, and it didn't need anything else but her singing to the camera, speaking through her character, and that was just really incredible. But an example where they changed up songs and gave it a whole new feeling and a whole new meaning that I really enjoyed in this particular example was when he was singing Bring Him Home, when Hugh Jackman was singing Bring Him Home. And it just cut between shots of Hugh Jackman and Eddie Redmayne, because Eddie Redmayne was playing Marius, and it just gave it this whole new feeling that you can't really seeing it on a stage. It was, it went between him singing and Marius being at the barricade, and it was just so incredible. And that was an example of how adding a filmmaking touch to it was really incredible, and you just can't imitate that on the stage, and I really enjoyed it. Another example was during the battle and how, the kid Gavroche, he died. That was just something that can't really be imitated by seeing it on a stage. It was just so heartbreaking and deep when he died, and it was so believable. And I gotta give the kid who played him credit, because it was really incredible to see, and you really did feel for it. And, I might have shed a tear here or there, but, those are just some examples of scenes where, they are spoilers. I didn't want to spoil it for people who hadn't seen it yet, because I don't know how many songs from the show they may have actually known, and, Gavroche dying, that's definitely a spoiler. So yeah, that's basically my review of this movie. My rating for it is definitely an A+. My recommendation is definitely to see it in theaters. Don't wait for it on Netflix, and don't just skip it altogether. See it in theaters. See it in IMAX if you can. It was just so absolutely incredible. If you're a theater person especially, definitely make it an issue to go and see this movie, although, we all know that you've probably seen it already by the time that you're watching this review. But even if you're not a theater person, give it a shot. Hugh Jackman and Anne Hathaway, they were both incredible. They were both very deserving of their Golden Globe nominations. And that's basically my review of this movie. So be sure to subscribe for more videos coming out soon. Give me a thumbs up if you liked the review, if you want to see more. And give me a comment. Let me know if you've seen the movie, what you thought about it. If you haven't seen the movie, questions about it for me that I may not have covered in this review. And that's basically it. So be sure to subscribe for more, and I'll be back soon. Okay, thanks for watching, guys.